Never did the Jewish people leave Israel voluntarily, and there were places they never left at all. Throughout the Middle Ages until modern times, when they could, they returned, as they'd returned from Egypt and from Babylon. Judah Halevi set sail to go there in 1140, though we don't know if he reached his destination. Maimonides and his family went there in 1165, though they were unable to stay in a land ravaged by the Crusaders. Nachmanides went in 1267 and revived the Jewish community in Jerusalem. In the 15th and 16th centuries, Jews came from Spain and Portugal. The community in Tzfat became a world center of Jewish scholarship and mysticism. And then in the 17th century, they came from the Ukraine after the massacres of 1648. In the 18th century, disciples of both the Baal Shem Tov and the Vilna Gaon made their way to the land. And in the 19th century, Aliyah became not a pilgrimage of the few, but a movement of the many. Jews never relinquished the dream of return. Wherever they were, they prayed about Israel and facing Israel. The Jewish people was the circumference of a circle at whose center was the Holy Land and Jerusalem, the holy city. For centuries, they lived suspended between memory and hope, sustained by the promise that one day God would bring them back. Here's a song whose words were written in Tzfat in the 16th century by the Jewish mystic Rabbi Eliezer Azikri. It's one of the most beautiful poems in Hebrew literature, a song of the love between Israel and God, Yedid Nefesh, beloved of the soul.
Yedid Nefesh Harachaman, Yedid Nefesh Harachaman, Mishuchavdecha, Eretzonecha, Mishuchavdecha, La 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 la, Eretzonecha, Shav Harachaman, Mishuchavdecha, Eretzonecha, Mishuchavdecha, Ya la 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 la, Eretzonecha, Yarutzavdecha,
In 1799, in the midst of his Middle East campaign, Napoleon called on Jews to return to their land. And during the 19th century, the great age of European nationalism, others began to think that way too. There were the religious Zionists, Rabbi Yehuda Alkalai and Rabbi Tzvi Hirsch Kalischer, who read the mood of the age and heard the call to Jews to re-establish themselves as a nation in their own land. There were Christian visionaries, statesmen like Lord Palmerston and Lord Shaftesbury, who felt likewise. In 1876, the Victorian writer George Eliot wrote one of the first Zionist novels, Daniel Deronda. Then, a disturbing new phenomenon began to appear. The European Enlightenment was supposed to end the prejudices of the past, but it didn't. A new and deadly prejudice was born. In 1879, it was given a name: anti-Semitism. And now a third voice began to be heard, from Judah Lev Pinsker after the 1881 Russian pogroms, and Theodor Herzl after the Dreyfus trial in France in 1895, warning that Europe was becoming unsafe for Jews. So an ancient dream and a contemporary nightmare came together, calling Jews back to the land of their beginnings, just as the prophet Isaiah had said 27 centuries earlier. In that day, a great shofar will sound, and those who are perishing in exile will come and worship God on the holy mountain in Jerusalem. Here are those words, sung by one of the great Jewish musicians of the 20th century, the late Reb Shlomo Carlebach.
והיה ביום ההוא, והיה ביום ההוא, איתו בשופר גדול, בשופר גדול. ובאו העובדים בארץ אשור, והנידחים בארץ מצרים. ובאו העובדים בארץ אשור, והנידחים בארץ מצרים. והשתחוו להשם